Well, Tom, I told you yesterday, much like international horses, when they first make their trip over here, in our second time around Royal Ascot, we'd be better than we were day one. So thankfully, that came to pass.
I've been very pleased.
Yes, indeed.
Cannot complain. Didn't like the results of the last run. We got around the track for the number 6, which is the 5:35.
5:35 was the name of the horse?
No, that's the time of the race goes.
Oh, okay.
So it's 12:35. So we're a couple minutes away.
Is that the last race on the card?
No, there's one more.
One more after that. So
this is a 5 furlong, so straight down, and it's another big field.
Yeah, those huge fields. So we didn't have too many big fields today. But any observations from day 2 that made it a little bit easier than day 1?
Well, the most important thing I saw and the commentators commented on was the if you were on the outside, way outside, or on the inside, so stand side or far out rail, it was much better track than trying to run up the middle. And the winners were all coming from those places. Indy Angel in the 3rd. Frankie Dettori just kept her on the grandstand side, and she did everything she needed to do. The last race I just watched, this time it was on the far side, and one of the commentators mentioned that area is more packed down because there's more traction, more horses on there. Now remember, this was also a 33 horse field, so it's a little unlike what we see in this country.
Yeah, no. That's good. At Santa Anita, 33 horses could be the whole day.
Yeah, unfortunately. Sometimes, unfortunately, yes.
So in terms of picks, those observations, I said yesterday that I was going back to basics. I added a little bit more for today. So hopefully just the tweaks that hopefully make some more improvements. But yesterday in the first race, I had Quick Susie, the 18 horses, my second pick, with Twilight Gleaming as my first pick. They came in for an exacta that paid $28, not bad. And then you had mentioned from the commentary that you decided to throw in Quick Susie in your own personal stuff today.
I did. They were talking about how good she looked, and I really thought so. And going to the gate, they picked up on her too, and she did look like a winner. I was happy with the run of Artos. He helped me with my Omni. Mm-hmm. He ran, she broke straight out and took that lead and really held on well to finish 4th.
It's too bad we couldn't bring in the 3rd place horse and gotten a part of $1,000 trifecta, but we're building that way. So today was the exactas, because between you and me, mostly you, but me in the first race, we had the exacta. And then the trifecta, you had it cold in the last leg, but we'll get to that. So in race number 2, we had the 6 horse, my 7 horse scratch. So that made the 6 horse my 3rd pick, and your 3rd pick came home first at $15.70 with Wordsworth coming in second at the 14 horse. So that was an exacta that paid $28.40, which kind of surprises me that exacta paid almost the same as the last one. And then once again, unfortunately, we didn't have the 12 horse to clean up the trifecta.
No, I missed that one, but we did. Kamari was an impressive run. Mm-hmm. And I think we'll see more of that horse in the future, and possibly the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, well, I think some of the things were starting to emerge, at least to me, as you're starting to see the better jockeys and the better trainers pop up more at the top of the leaderboard, or top more at the winner's circle as the races go on. So hopefully, focusing a little bit on jockeys, a little bit on trainers, quality horse, we can put those pieces together for the rest of this week and close out the Royal Ascot strong. Race 3, Tom, I didn't have the 8, but you had the 8. Indy Angel as your 3rd pick. That's a $33 horse with Lady Bothorpe. That's was the favorite. Lady Bothorpe, co-favorites with the
she wasn't. She was a favorite in this country, but the Queen's Power was the favorite in England.
Okay.
So yes, he went off the favorite there.
So that exacta that you had, 8-2 exacta, paid $77.30. And fortunately, neither one of us had the 3. Well, I had the 3 as my top pick. So you put that in under Tom's, you had a nice trifecta.
Yeah, I just didn't see Queen's Power being there. And, well, she didn't win, but she did run a good race.
Yeah, well, $440, almost $441 trifecta for the 823 with, that's not bad. And the 8 was,
oh. And the top horse was ridden. It was Gosden with John Gosden with Frankie Dettori up. So that was a nice price for that pair.
Well, that's what I've said. It seems like Dettori and the better trainers like Appleby, they're starting to emerge, get themselves involved, and hopefully, we'll be able to use that to our advantage for the rest of the day. And like I said early on, Tom nailed the last race. The fourth race, not the last race, perfectly. 7-6-1 in exactly order. That was Tom's cold trifecta. Only paid $10, but hey, if you put $1 on it, anything in life that you can put $1 on and get 10 back, that's a good deal.
Exacta paid $8. So I put 20 on that. So I was very happy with that. Love was very impressive.
Yeah.
She just dug in, and I still think her fitness may be not quite there, but I think after this race, they're going to put her in with that targeting being the arc, and she stays healthy. Adaria was the Breeders' Cup winner, was also very impressive. She dug in, she did stick her head up in front a little bit, and nose up in front, and then Love came right back. I think Armory could have run a better race. I thought the jockey would be closer to the lead with that horse. But I think part of it was nobody knew what the jockeys, in that race. It's a small field, yes, but they didn't know who they wanted to take the lead. And it was just kind of forced on Love to go out there and set the pace and let them come after her.
Yeah, I saw that race. Those 3 horses kind of separated from the pack as the best. The last 2 furlongs, they were up there battling it out, and you knew that was going to come in some order of 7-6-1. But Love definitely dug in, showed her class, and brought it home. And again, Ryan Moore, one of the top jockeys over there, but again, top horse. So yeah, I like it better when we get top jockey and $33 horses and $16 horses and $18 horses like we did in the first 4.
That does help the bankroll.
Sure. It looks good when you press that balance button, right? For sure. So now we're going to move off to day 3 at the Royal Ascot. So that's Thursday, even though today is Wednesday where we are, which makes it's all been a bit confusing for me from day to day because my inbox from Tom has been tripled.
Well, that'll go away. We're almost done.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting, lot of stuff for me to go through. So the first race is the Norfolk. It's again one of these short 5 furlongs on the turf, but you say that weather's supposed to be different. We're going to get some rain tonight and change the track, so maybe tomorrow we're back to some plotters coming home.
Yeah, I think we may see some of that, and we also may see. It really depends on how firm this track is. I think I don't know. I think it'll be good. But I don't think it'll soften up that much unless they get a lot of rain because they have been watering the course. And as a note, if you go on the the Ascot site, the Ascot Racecourse site, they do have a tremendous amount of information on the track itself, or the going, as they call it there. And so it gives you, they have the depth, they have the different areas of the track, they show what's good and what's firm. So you can get a lot of really nice information if you're curious. And again, that goes back to how the races are being run. Can also help you with a little of that information.
Yeah, well, any advantage that you can get. So this is a 16-horse field, 5 furlong race, and 2-year-olds. So big field, inexperienced horses running a sprint. I think the last time we had this yesterday on Monday, didn't that have a $15,000? Wasn't that the $15,000 trifecta race?
Yeah, I think it was.
Well, let's see if we can find you had the first trifecta. Let's see if we can find a better paying trifecta here. So how are you starting your picks in the Norfolk, Tom?
Well, I talked about a horse on Monday
Oh, that's
who
right.
didn't go, but guess where he showed up. Well, he was cross-entered. He was entered in the Coventry, which was a 6 furlong race, and this is a 5 furlong race, and it's a Group 2 race. So I picked number 3, Bears Go.
Homer.
Yeah, well, we're Chicago people. He won first time out at Ascot, and it looks like there's better things coming. The Offspring have been winners, and they've run at various distances. I think the trainer must feel that 6 furlongs right now is a little too long for him, and he knows what he's got at 5, and he's gonna drop him into this race instead. David Longmuth is a very good trainer. I mean, he's very, very good on the all weathers, but he's slowly but surely getting some nice runners here. He's in the last 5 years he's had 22 runners at Ascot. He has 2 winners, so not a great record, but over a 5-year span, that's not awful either, considering the competition that's here at Ascot. We're going to switch to Tom Marquette as the jockey, and I'm trying to figure out what odds he's going to be at. I'm kind of predicting 6-1. Last out, though, they had him at higher, and then he got hammered towards the end before he went off in his race and won.
Well, he's 12-1 in the morning line. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's good. I think he's going to get hit again. I think there's going to be interest among the bettors and this horse, and it certainly was last time. My next choice, I'm going to make a comment first, is Wesley Ward's got 2 horses in here. The number 9, Lucci, and the horse that I preferred. Now, interestingly enough, Lucci is going to be ridden by John Velasquez, whereas Nakatomi is going to be ridden by Oisin Murphy, and definitely one of the best jockeys there. The number 10, I like the race at first asking over a sloppy track in Keeneland. And that day, Joe Rosario was riding, and he beat another Wesley Ward horse in that race, who was the choice. So, he really ran a nice race, in my opinion, because he sat close to the pace. He challenged the leaders on the inside, then he moved away to win. And I thought that was a nice race.
Okay.
I personally, I think this is the better horse.
So you're going to put the 10 as your second pick?
My second pick will be number 10. I did want to mention the 9 because that, with that Velasquez taking that mount, you would think that's more of the choice, and certainly running at Belmont on a firm going and made all the calls and won. So, but I think this other one is, I think it's going to like the ground at Ascot, and it's going to run a nice race. And I don't think it hurts to have an experienced rider like Sheen Murphy up on this horse. My third pick is the number 14, Second Wind. And I made a mistake on here, but that's okay. I'll fix it. This horse is just getting closer. Is getting good. He won his first 2 starts. He's been looking good. He's not winning them by big margins, but he's been fighting to the line. And I always like that in a young horse. He's a decent size horse. They paid $75,000 for him, and he's going to be stepping up, but that gameness and that ability, I think, is really shown, and I really think it's got a great chance in here. And the breeding would say it's pretty good. By a sprinter, the Dam has produced 7 to race, and all 5 are winners, and they've all won at the sprint distance. So something beyond 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs, a mile may not be in the wheelhouse of this kind of horse, but certainly as a sprinter, Yeah, it should be right there and very competitive.
Yeah, he's 10-1 in the morning line. So in these big fields, it's tough to tell, but maybe he'll head up. This is what you're hoping for, and then we can have another double-digit winner in our picks. For me,
that my crystal ball may not be working, but we'll try.
Oh, it's working now. We're on fire now, Tom. We're en fuego, as they say in Espanol. For me, I'm going with number 2 as my top choice. That is, his name is Catamosto. It's a horse that won its debut as a well bet by 3.25 lengths on the all weather. I'm not so worried about all weather to turf. That's a pretty good angle, reliable angle. It's a horse that should do pretty well. Ryan Moore, I think, had a couple of other mounts that he could have taken in this race, it looks to me, but he chose this horse. So I feel like the 2 horses are a pretty solid play. I do like the 2 Wesley Ward horses, the 9 and the 10. Next, something that you said on Monday rang in my head as I was handicapping. I was going through and I liked the 9 and the 10, and I saw Wesley Ward, and then I looked up to see how many furlongs is this race. When I saw that it was 5, I'm like, all right, Tom said 5 furlongs, Wesley Ward, England. It all goes together. Go ahead.
And 2-year-olds.
And 2-year-olds. So you can wrap that all up in a nice bow, and take the Wesley Ward horses home. And then I agree with Tom. We're homers. We're in Chicago. 2 guys from Chicago betting horses in England, and there's a horse, Go Bears Go. If we don't take them, there's something wrong with Tom and I, for sure.
Yeah,
well, there might be anyway, but
and I think it's got a nice chance. Well, I mean, it fits right in here with a nice big field and a good ride, and you could see this one on the front.
Well, maybe we'll get 1-2 from Ward, and then our other horse that we agree on. Well, if we go 1-2, then we can't have the trifecta because you don't have the Lucci horse. So
yeah.
All right. So let's move on to race number 2. This is the Hampton Court Stakes. It's a 1.25 miles, so it's the same distance as the Derby on turf, but Derby's not on turf. And it looks like we have another impressive field, Tom, here where maybe we can make some value as well.
Oh, this was definitely an interesting group to try to take apart. And I picked the number 1 horse, One Ruler, as my top choice. He is dropping a little bit. He's been racing the last 3 races in Group 1s, and now he's dropping to a Group 3. He's won before at a mile and greater. This is right about the type of race that he should be able to be better at. William Buick's, when he's been on the horse, he's 2 wins and 2 places on this horse. So William Buick appears to be the right jockey for this horse. Last out, he didn't have much of a chance. He was in the back of the field in the English Derby, and he made up some ground, but he really just sort of flattened out. So I think this is a much better spot. I still question the distance, but I think with some class relief, not facing Group 1s, this may help it a lot, and to get over the line first.
Yeah, 2 back, he finished 6th, 4 3/4 behind Poetic Flair, who we saw win on day 1.
Right. So if you're looking at any key races there, that's certainly one of them to highlight. So that's number 3. I get to mispronounce a name. Mohafeth, whatever the heck it is.
Mohafeth?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
I like that better.
Sounds good.
That's going to be your favorite.
Mohafeth.
Won the last 3, last by 5 lengths. And the comment line I loved, it said impressive. Yeah, it was impressive. It's out of a Frankel. By a Frankel, the dam has 2 runners, and they're both winners. Been running at lower levels at Class 1, Class 3, Class 5. So definitely lower than the One Ruler's been running at. But this is a Shadwell, and they paid a bunch of money for this horse. And I think they've taken their time, and they're looking for the right spot and to get a group win, and this may be it.
Right.
My final choice is number 4, Moving Time. The maiden winner last time out. And Roger Varian's the trainer, and I don't think he'd drop this horse if he doesn't have a chance. And I've got to put a price in here someplace, and I think this is the one. He's making the right moves with most of his horses. He's very good at this, and I just think this horse, it won by 4 lengths. It looked good. Yeah, it's stepping up big, but I really think it's got a good shot in this field. It's interesting. The dam has produced both flat runners and jumpers, so very versatile. Obviously, distance is not going to be an issue for this horse.
Mm-hmm. Well, looking at it, the trainer Varian took the horse off the all-weather track. Last time out was the first time on turf. Seemed to take to the turf a little bit better than it took to the all-weather, as it went from losing its first 2 races by a combined 2 lengths, 1 length in each race, to winning by 4. So I think that is a positive sign that the horse may indeed like the grass. For me, I like the number 3 too. That is Mohafeth. That's what I'm going with, Mohafeth. Somebody else thinks it's pronounced differently. You're wrong. I have the I have the 7 horse. That's Roman Empire. Didn't race too well the last 2 times out. This is the 3rd time off a layoff. It's running at the same level, but if you look at who the horse ran against last time out, I look back at Hurricane Lane. Hurricane Lane, I think, has won 3 of its 4 races on turf. It's a pretty good horse that it lost to. Magellan is it's a 50-50 horse, but still, competing very well at the high level. So he ran against some solid company last time. Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore looks like a good matchup. I think they won one today, right, together. So maybe they can win one more tomorrow. I'm with you on One Ruler. It's another horse that's run against better quality. As I mentioned, finished behind Poetic Flair, and also in the last race out, Hurricane Lane. And then finally, my price in this race is number 8, Secret Protector. Horse has done nothing wrong. It finished second to the top choice, Mohafeth, last time out. Maybe a little bit of time off, some time in the barn, come back and run better. The last time this horse had a break, it finished second by 1 1/4 lengths, and the time before that, won by 5 1/2. So I think Secret Protector will run well fresh. I hope he run right to the winner's circle and give us a nice fat payday. We're looking for one. We're going to get one tomorrow. I feel like it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's an interesting card. It just really depends on what happens with those favorites.
Carlos says that on the ward horses, they tend to be short in the soft grass. So maybe, hopefully, Carlos, they're not tomorrow. At least not for me, because that's where my money. That's who I'll be backing. And let's see. Go ahead and look at now race number 3 as I bring race number 3 into the fold, and that's still race number 2. Let me just click out of that. Race number 3 is the Ribblesdale. It's a name I kind of like this name, so I feel like because I like the name, I'm going to handicap it better.
Well, lost you.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm still here, Tom.
Okay, I thought I had a cutout.
Well, it's technology, internet, man.
It must have been me.
They advertise on TV how great the internet is, and you get the fastest speeds that you'll ever get, man. You'll be faster than any horses at the Royal Ascot. And then, of course, at the most important moment, it turns off. That's like with the streaming TV. And I'm like to my kids, hey, does this TV always stutter like that? They're like, oh, yeah, it's the stream, Dad. I'm like, all right.
Just put rabbit ears up and really confuse them.
Yeah, and then put some aluminum foil on and start moving around. And anybody who's like under 45 right now or 50 watching has no idea what we're talking about. But in any case, race 3, Tom, let's see if we can get them to know what we're talking about here. Who are your picks for the Ribblesdale Stakes?
Well, this is an interesting Group 2 race. It's restricted to 3-year-olds, and we're going to go a little bit of a distance. So you want to see something with some ability to hang in those kind of margins. My first top choice is Gloria Munda. She's raced twice at Newbury. She's got a win and a second. Her last one,
That's lost the 7 horse, by the way.
Yeah, the 7 horse. She sat mid-pack and moved up. She wins her maiden by a nose. I mean, it won't be a big margin she wins by, but she's got great chances in here, and I think the distance really helps her a lot. trained by John Gosden, ridden by Frankie Dettori. Can't complain about that.
Nope.
And she's been improving in her races. Her dam is by Galileo's the sire. The dam has produced runners that have basically gone a mile or much better. So they do. It's obvious the breeding indicates that the distance should not be an issue at all. My second choice is number 6, Estrada. I don't know. I'm so
Estrada.
bad.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Okay.
Estrada.
Estrada.
Estrada. We'll go with Estrada. And again, if it's pronounced, you think it's pronounced differently, you're wrong. It's Estrada.
Lost last time out. Beat Gloria, my top choice, last out by a neck. It was in a listed race and won her maiden on soft going. So it looks like it may be a little versatile. It obviously likes going a bit of a distance. This is again a Roger Varian trainee. We've talked about another horse of his, and it's going to step up facing some good horses here, but it's got a great chance in running here. And I think it wants faster ground, so that may be an issue. But I thought it was one in her maiden win. I thought it was really interesting. Basically, when they ran that race, I think she was loafing a little, and it was her first start. And so jockey gave her one smack of the whip, and she went.
She wanted no more of that.
But that was enough. They didn't
Good thing she doesn't race at Monmouth.
Yeah. So the thing that is with this one, it's obviously a very slow developing horse because that maiden race was in November. Mm-hmm. And that is the end of the English flat season. So, they brought it out to get a win at 2 and then see what they have at 3. Mm-hmm. Number 4, Divinely, is my next choice. She ran the English Oaks last time out, finished 3rd. Okay effort. But let's remember, Snowfall won by 18 lengths.
Yeah.
So nobody was really close to that horse. Distance is okay. She's running heavier ground. If we get that rain overnight, that may help. I think that'll help her chances. She's been beating Group 3 races as a 2-year-old. The third out last, she beat. This little bit of class relief, I think, is going to help her. And I don't think the distance is at all an issue with this one.
No, she ran 1.5 miles last time out, so she should be able to get it. The second time out should be better. So she's slowly getting longer and longer and longer on the track. So I expect that it won't be a difficult task for Divinely. Too many D's. I'm tongue twisting myself at the moment. So for me, I'm just going to go with number 11. It's high. That's Noon Star. I was going to say High Noon. I think that's probably going to end up being the favorite, 5-2. Horse has not done anything wrong. 3rd time off a start, layoff, classic handicapping stuff there. That's the horse that finished 2nd behind Snowfall last time out at 1 mile and 5/16. It was only 3 3/4 behind that horse. So I expect that you're going to see this horse do well. And Sir Michael Stout, is that his name? Stouty?
Yeah, Stout has been an excellent, one of the top trainers in England for a long time, getting up in age, obviously. But
that's why he's got the Sir, right? Because
he was given that because of his prowess of training horses, and he's won many Royal Ascot races.
Well, I noticed that he did have a high hit rate. Doesn't run a lot of horses. When I was looking through
not in recent years.
No, the trainer flat stats on Sky Sports. So I'm learning a whole new lingo that I did not know 3 days ago. But the trainer flat stats, I noticed that Sir Michael Stout. When I saw the Sir there, I knew he had to be good. Otherwise, you don't get the Sir. Hopefully, one day I can be Sir Richard. But anyhow, I figured he's not here unless he's bringing quality. Otherwise, it seems to me he probably would not be here. Then I have the 5-horse Dubai Fountain. It's a horse that stopped in his last race, so I think maybe bettors will overlook Dubai Fountain. It finished in that same snowfall race with Divinely, finished 12th by 34 out of 14 horse field. But like I said, pulled up, didn't run all the way around, but was well bet in that race against Snowfall. So I suspect that that last race might take a little bit of the shine off that horse, and maybe we get lucky and we can get 10-1, 12-1 odds on a horse that should run better than the 7-1 morning line. And then I agree with you on number 4, Divinely, and number 6, Ashita. So we agree on 2 out of our 4 picks. So maybe they can combine to make the exacta in race number 3.
Let's be optimistic, man. Let's get that trifecta this time.
Well, one of us needs to get it, but we can only agree on 2 horses. So we both need to be winners. So if it goes 4, 6, and then 11 or something, they don't have superfectas over there, though, huh? Just trifecta, no. It's the max.
No,
I noticed that.
Again, depends on what the bookie is offering.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily have to offer those types of wagers if they don't want to.
Yeah, well, that's true. So Carlos once said he's telling us that NBC Sports is covering this. Let me say something, Carlos, not as well as we are, and I'm sure they don't have the great background that we have, like the prison window over here, and Tom has a much better background. I need to get me one of those and put some pictures on it or something. Yeah. So now we're going to go to race number 4, and that is the Gold Cup. I thought they ran that one at Santa Anita, but apparently it's at the Royal Ascot as well. Now, you talked about the last one being some length. This one's 2.5 miles, and when I go jogging, Tom, I usually run between 2.5 to 3 miles. And I know how long it takes, and I know how many calories it is because it's about from the treadmill. It's about the equivalent of eating a Snickers. So I always feel like, man, I'm running 3 miles when I eat a Snickers. It's terrible, but it takes me about 2.5 miles, probably 22, 23 minutes. You think that they'll be done in less than 23 minutes?
I would hope so.
Yeah, me too.
With them going about 35 miles an hour, yeah, I would say, yeah, probably. I don't think you do that, do you?
35 miles an hour? No. Like I put, now that I'm older, I put 10 on the treadmill. I feel like my legs are going to come off, so I have to slow it down. But that's just not, I mean, at least I'm still trying to run at 54 years old. I know a lot of others aren't, perhaps. So who do you like in race number 4 at 2.5 miles? I'd imagine they're going to come out of the gates here and walk and then start to jog and then eventually get up to 35 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have the one horse who's won this race more than once, and he's my second choice. Now, my top choice is going to be the Australian Melbourne Cup winner, Twilight Payment. And in Australia, when this race is run, they refer to it as the race that stops the nation. It is a huge thing. Last year, there was 23 runners in the race, and that is a 2-mile race. So it is something else. I mean, and it was a great performance. I had the second horse. I like Tiger Moth, but I was really impressed with Twilight Payment's run. Since that race, he's run 2. He's finished 3rd twice. That's fine. I think he's sitting on a big race, and this could be a nice spot for him. He's run 33 times. He's won 8 of them, but he's placed 18 times. So that's not too bad.
And he's 30-1 morning line.
Yeah, and I also like it that he runs on good to yielding tracks, and I think we may see that tomorrow. And also that they changed the jockey for a first ride by Tom Marquette. So yes, I'm grasping for a price here, and maybe grasping a little, but playing the favorite is I don't do that a lot. Use it in my gimmicks, but not in necessarily a straight bet.
Righto.
Number 4, Stradivarius is the second choice, the obvious one. The only thing with him is that every once in a while he just runs a stinker, and but he will be a big favorite. And of course, this race has been his race for the last couple of years.
I think he won last year by 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it wasn't even close. And yes, he will be absolutely. If he's dead game, he's ready to go. His team of Gosden and Dettori and the whole bit. So everything is that if the horse wasn't ready to go, they wouldn't put it in here. Number 12 is Subjectivity. I picked that as my third one. It ran in Dubai last out and won pretty easily. So we get a bit of a break. Mark Johnson's the trainer. They're going to put Joe Fanning, who's ridden this horse many times. It runs well off breaks, and I can see it easily getting somewhere in the money in this race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last time out won by 5 3/4 in Dubai. Prior to that, won by 2 in France, and you had mentioned that the pool money in France is bigger, so I'd imagine that if the pool money is bigger, it attracts a better quality field. For me, I couldn't get past Stradivarius as the top pick. Just look pounds the best to me in this field. And then, surprisingly, Tom, guess who I have second?
The 6?
The 6 horse, yes, indeed. I have the 30-1 shot, Twilight Payment. So I must be starting to think like you or you like me. I'm not sure, but probably the other, me like you. And then I have the 5 horse as my third play. That is Trushan. That's a horse that's, again, it's one of those horses that tends to be an all or nothing horse. It's run 11 times on the turf, won 6 of them, has 2 seconds in there. Those seconds were pretty close. At least the last one was by 3/4 of a length. But it's making its second start off a break, and both times it ran better in the second start than it did the first time. So I expect the 5 horse Trushan to show some improvement over the last race, which was a 1 mile and 11/16, but he has run 2 miles before. So I think the distance should be okay, because in a 2-mile race, won by 7.5 lengths. So I was able to pull away from the pack. And then my final pick is the 9 horse. That's Emperor of the Sun. That horse last time out managed to beat Twilight Payment by a pretty good margin. Ran away from the field at 1 3/4 miles. It's making its third start off a break. And the last time it ran a pretty solid race in the third break, was definitely better than the first 2. So hopefully Emperor of the Sun at 15-1 morning line. I suspect that you're probably going to see that number go up a little bit, because I think that the 4 horse is going to draw a lot of money, and minus maybe the next 2 favorites, everybody else's odds are likely to rise up. So that's the way I see it breaking down.
If anything beats Stradivarius, it's going to pay good.
Yes, which is what kind of we really would like to see happen. But if it's the 6 horse, Tom and I will be, when we come on tomorrow, we'll be jumping up and down. We won't be sitting in our chairs.
I hope so. We'll see. It certainly has proven they can win, and win in the big races.
Yeah, well, otherwise I don't think the trainers would enter them. So, like always, Tom has the picks for the remainder of Thursday's card. We'll put them up at horseracingradar.com, and I'm sure there's a lot of exciting races, because they're all like $100,000 handicaps the rest of the day. So they were big races.
Well, there's 30. The Britannia Stakes has 33 starters. The King George V has 22 starters, so that's a small field.
Mm-hmm.
And the final race, the Buckingham Palace, has 33 starters.
You notice how I don't do those races.
They're a challenge, yes.
I leave all that hard work to Tom. I'm just here to press buttons, usually not correctly, because once again, I made all these banners again, and I came down, sat down on my desk, and I'm going to put these banners in. Royal One, guess what I didn't use? These banners 3 days. So, like a good rock band, if you're not playing, you don't know that the people have made a mistake. So I just let you in on a little bit of the inside baseball, so to speak, that I screwed it up. But in any case, folks, make sure you check out all of Tom's picks. Head over to Horse Racing Radar for all your other picks, because we have everything covered there. Big weekend of racing coming up. We'll have all that covered tomorrow night. Tom and I will be joined by the normal crew with Sean, Terry, myself, and Tom. Will be covering the late pick 4 at Churchill Downs with an up-and-coming jockey. We will introduce you to him. And as always, folks, good luck with your tickets, and good luck at the races.